In Algebra 1, Section 5.5, we're dealing with linear inequalities. So basically what we're doing is we're graphing not just lines but inequalities on a graph. So these are the steps that we're going to do, and then we're going to apply these steps to a graph. So the first step is to replace inequality for an equal sign. Put it in the y equals mx plus b form and then graph it. So first we're going to graph a line just like you've been doing in the last section. Then you're going to pick a point not on the line, shade in the true value, and tell whether and then shade in the true value. So before we actually graph these, make sure to write them down, but before we actually graph them, we're going to do number one. Number one tells us to tell whether the following is a solution, -2, 4. So we need to know if this is a solution. Sorry, this is supposed to be like this. Not equals, but less than. So I'm going to plug in this in. This is my x and this is my y. So 4 is greater than 2 times -2 plus 1. So 4 is greater than 2 times -2 is -4 plus 1. 4 is greater than -3. This is true. Okay? If it was false, then, so if we were to graph this inequality, this point would lie in the shaded region. If it was false, then it would lie in the not shaded region. So shaded and not shaded, let me explain what that means. But go ahead and write this down. So let's do an example. Okay, so what you see here is 4x minus y plus 2 is less than or equal to 0. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first worry about graphing the line. So in order for me to worry about graphing the line, I'm going to just change the inequality to an equal sign. Okay, just for now, because I'm not worried about shading just yet, so this should be review. I'm going to put it into the y equals mx plus b format. So I'm going to isolate y. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. I end up with -y plus 2 equals -4x. And then minus 2 on both sides. I end up with -y equals -4x minus 2. Now, the y can't be negative, so I have to divide. So I'm going to divide this by -1 and divide this whole thing by -1. So because of that, these cancel out. I end up with just y. And then this -1 times this -4 gives me a positive 4x. And this -1 times a -2 gives me a positive 2. Okay? So this is so first I've changed it to equal sign, and I'm just going to graph this. And this is review, how to graph this, right? I'll start with this, positive 2. And I'm going to go up 4, 2, 3, 4, over, because there's no fraction, this is over 1, over 1. And if I want to go backwards, I'll go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and back 1. So here's my graph. Okay? So the difference between this and an inequality is basically, the difference between a line and an inequality is that the inequality can have more than one answer. So what I need to do is, all of this on the line is an answer, but also one of these sides is an answer as well. So I have to shade in the region where all of the answers have. For example, and the thing is, it's either shaded or not shaded. So the values, the points actually make this true or it actually makes it false. It's either shaded or not shaded. So I just have to test the point. Okay, for example, I'm going to test the easiest point, which is 0, 0. I can use any point, just like the example says. You can pick a point that's not on the line, all right? Right here it says to pick a point that's not on the line. This should be on your notes. So I'm going to pick 0, 0. I usually will pick 0, 0, but if 0, 0 is on the line, I have to pick anything. And this works with any button. Any point. So I'm going to test this. I'm going to test 0, 0. And I'm going to plug it into the original, okay? I'm going to plug it into the original. This is my original. And so it's going to be 4, this is my x and y, times 0 minus 0 plus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. So 4 times 0 is 0 minus 0, so we have 2 is less than or equal to 0. Is this true or false? This is false. So that means this point is not shaded, okay? So there's only two sides to the line. Either this half is shaded or this half is shaded, okay? Because that line cuts it in half. So because this is not shaded, that means everything on this side is not shaded. So that means if this side is false, this side is true. So any point here, okay, any point here is true. So I'm going to shade that side. And that's the one step from what you've been doing last section to graphing inequalities, so that we're actually shading a side. What this side shading means, if I were to test this point, it would be true. If I were to test this point, it would be true. So if you want to make sure if you got the right answer or not, just test your shaded side. Anything here needs to make this value true. Everything here will make this value false, and anything on the line will make the value true. So go ahead and try it, page 364, number 6, 364, number 6, and I will see you in class.